So, you want to know about Pokemon controversies, huh? You want to know the truth? You can't handle the truth! I've never even seen that movie. Anyway, I'm going to be talking about all the controversies that are attached to Pokemon. A lot of these probably no one would care about if they weren't targeted towards young kids. You know, us being impressionable and all. Because it's the controversies video, I'm going to wear my Jesus is my homeboy t-shirt. Which is funny because I'm not Christian. So, the main theme of Pokemon is you're trying to collect a bunch of monsters, or what basically are animals, and go around and fight other people which are collecting those same animals. Now, if you think about it, that sounds really awful, and people uneducated about the game and its innocence took it the wrong way. There's all sorts of accusations flung towards Pokemon. First of all, animal cruelty. You're making animals fight, basically. Cockfighting is, if you've ever seen videos of cockfighting, it's kind of disturbing and gross, and people didn't like that theme of animals fighting other animals. Of course, in the Pokemon series, there's no blood, nobody dies, they just faint. That was a very important aspect to the creator of the game series. He didn't want to promote too much violence, so he made sure that those limitations were in check, which is probably what made the Pokemon series so successful, because of its limitations and its violence, young kids could play the game without it being too harmful. So probably a good marketing tool at the same time. Now, because the Pokemon are summoned using Pokeballs, they kind of draw another accusation of, well, Satanism. Yeah, summoning monsters. Again, doesn't sound too good in idea. In practice, it's pretty fun. Sounds awful. Anyway, so yeah, there's a variety of religious groups that just don't like Pokemon at all. Christianity doesn't like it for those reasons I said before. There's some aspects of Judaism that have seen some Pokemon cards and Pokemon that are unaltered for their Japanese and Asian releases that are going to be altered for the United States release. They noticed some backwards facing kanji, which let's see here. Depending on the direction it faces, I think it could be a symbol for a Buddhist temple in Asia, and if it's facing the other way, it's basically a symbol for Nazism. So you can understand why Jews would be pissed about that. Now, they were never planning to release it in its Nazism way in the United States, but you know, they had ample time to freak out before it was localized. So, yeah. Let's see, what else? I believe it's banned in a certain Arab state that I can't remember of right now. I mean, religious organizations all over the world generally don't like Pokemon. Let's see, what else? There are certain Pokemon that really draw criticism for the occult. One of which, probably the best example, would be Houndoom, a dark and fire type Pokemon. Some of you know what it looks like, but if you see a picture of it, you might understand. Yeah, that thing, some big ass black dog with horns. It looks like a hellhound. I mean, I guess you can understand why that one would be the source of some controversy. I may or may not have a Houndoom. It's pretty badass. There are also some subspecies of Pokemon that just draw controversy as well because of what they look like. Not so much that they look like they're satanic, but because of certain images that they bring about. Jinx, for example, an ice psychic type Pokemon in the original game, had some controversy on this one because it basically looked like blackface. A very controversial practice that is no longer acceptable in the United States. This is Jinx, if you can imagine it. Its skin was originally black, actually, with big red lips, and that pretty much looks like blackface, and that pisses people off. What's funny about that is it's a Japanese creation, so now its skin color is actually changed to purple to avoid some of the controversy, and in all the art and promotional materials nowadays, it's always purple, but originally it was black, and now you know why. Also, forming some racial problems is the line from the third generation of games, Lotad, Lombre, and Ludicolo. This is Lombre. He's a water grass type, Now the problem with him is it's probably obvious. He's wearing a sombrero and he's got a fucking mustache. I mean, Lombre? Do I really need to spell it out? El Hombre? Lazy Hombre? As a lazy Mexican? What happened? How did... Ludicolo's not much better. I mean, he's got a giant bill, so he looks like a duck, so it's not as bad. But he's wearing a sombrero and a poncho. Crazy Mexican? Again? That's entirely inappropriate. What's up with that? So those specific species of Pokemon draw a lot of controversy. There are also episodes of the Pokemon anime show which were not only controversial, they were never shown again. The most controversial one would have to be the episode that never made it to the United States. It aired only in Japan, and it actually sent something like 700 kids to the hospital. An episode of Pokemon sent 700 kids to the hospital. Maybe you've heard about this one. It was an episode with Porygon. It was something like episode 35, something like that. I don't remember which episode. But they're in like some virtual world or something, and Team Rocket's firing some missiles at them, and Pikachu hits them with a Thunderbolt, and they explode, and there's these big flashing red and white lights. Now, nowadays, we're pretty much all in agreement that certain flashing lights could cause seizures, and those are epileptic. These apparently were even worse. Some kids were like dizzy, nauseous, fainting, and throwing up. Some of them suffered seizures, so there's quite a good number of Japanese little boys and girls that had to go to the hospital because of this episode. So they never showed it again. It's the subject of much controversy. They make fun of it in South Park even, but that's that episode. There's also a couple of them never made it to the United... What was that? There's another one that's not really shown anywhere because basically the Pokemon were causing earthquakes, and it came about at the time that there's a bad earthquake in Japan, and so they didn't show that. There was another one. There's one that's never shown in the United States. It actually has some continuity problems. Someone's pointing a gun at people, and firing warning shots, so they don't show that. You know, violence towards kids, certainly a no-no. But that episode is where Ash caught a bunch of Tauros, and they never explained that. Suddenly in another episode, he just has a Tauros, and you're like, where the hell did he get that one? What? And that was why. There's also, you ever see a flashback in the Pokemon anime where they talk about some beach scene that everyone was at? Well, here's what happened. It was something like the 18th episode, the first one chronological that's banned. All the female characters enter a bikini contest. Well, all the female characters and James from Team Rocket. He puts on this suit that makes him look like a woman, especially up here. So basically he's wandering around in a bikini the entire episode with giant breasts on him. Giant honking boobies. So that was a no-no for little kids, and so they banned the hell out of that one. There's also the Tentacruel episode where they attacked the city after 9/11. They didn't show that one. They didn't show a couple more because of their titles, but that was the one where it's like, oh, Pokemon terrorism. I'm gonna say no. So that's just a list of all of the craziness that's happened in Pokemon and why people don't like it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe with the next game they'll make some more controversy.